You're gathered. You're not gathered in the name of the local football team. You're not gathered in the name of the priest of your parish. You're gathered in the name of the Lord. So we are gathered together, and also it's important to realize that it's not that we gather together. It is that we are gathered together. For whatever reason, you, on that particular, say, Sunday morning, at that particular Mass, say 10 a.m. Mass, you have decided to accept God's invitation to come and be with him. And so he has gathered you and all the other people from the parish that are at that Mass. You are gathered by the Lord in his name, and he is present with you and to you. And one of his presences is in that portion of his body that is gathered in his name at any particular Mass. So there is the first presence of Christ, and we need to attend to that presence. So,
and sorry for cutting across, that's fascinating because, again, like as you're speaking there, I was just thinking of how I was before I started really taking my faith seriously. And for years it was only, going to Mass on a Sunday, but it was primarily for two reasons: to keep my mother happy. And secondly, it was just a done thing. It was like, it was almost like, once you cross over the threshold, once you're there at Mass and you're present physically, even though your mind could be somewhere else, whether it was on a hurling match or whatever, it was almost like, I've done my duty. So I'm here and I'm going to keep God happy. So it just ticks the boxes. But where the way you explained it, even before Mass has even begun, and here we are gathered together as it's a real inclusive community, family kind of a gathering, really. Yeah.
And it's quite a mix of people.
Yeah.
Having on a particular, say on a Sunday morning, it's people who have had all kinds of experiences, good, bad, and everything in between in the previous week. And the Lord has invited them, come to me. And they are there present. And it's a beautiful reality, but one we don't really maybe appreciate so much, or haven't until now.
Yeah,
I get to celebrate Mass every day to an empty cathedral. Up until a few weeks ago, completely empty, but now at least we have the sacristans in, and in a few weeks' time we'll have more in during this pandemic. That presence of Christ is still there, because I know people are gathered, they're with me spiritually, they're with me digitally, and I know that all the citizens of heaven are also present at every Mass. But certainly my experience of the presence of Christ, that way in which Christ is present, is a diminished version from my subjective experience, because the pews are empty.
Yeah.
The people haven't been able to be gathered into our churches for Mass. And so one of those four presences is not quite as strong as it could and should be, because necessarily we haven't had access to the Mass because of the pandemic. But I think maybe there's one presence of Christ which we will appreciate much more deeply when we get back up and running again and the churches begin to open up again.
If you liked what you just saw and would like to see the full interview, click on the Watch More box above, or else click on the link in the description box below. Make sure to also click on the subscribe button above so as to receive more regular content. Thank you.